I'm going to show you how to replace a Nissan blower motor and transistor. These are HVAC components that help control the heat and AC in your car. If you find this content helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I have a 2008 Nissan Frontier, but these steps should be similar for other makes and models. What happened was I was driving down the road and all of a sudden, all my HVAC cut off. No heat, no AC, no fan. And you can see here as we cycle through the HVAC system, none of the speed levels turn the blower on, whether hot or cold, AC or no AC. And one of the weird things about this, you'll notice the AC button can turn on and off in position 1, 2, and 3, but as soon as you turn to 4, it automatically turns off. So the first thing we need to do is identify the fuses, which are located under the hood, and there's 2 of them for the front blower. And they're right here. They're 2 mini 15 amp fuses. So I replaced those with new ones. And just make sure those are in there securely all the way. After that, there's the 2 blower motor fuses on the diagram. Put the cover back on the fuse panel, shut the hood. So when we come back to the cabin and try to use the blower motor, we go through 1, there's nothing. 2, nothing. 3, nothing. When we turn to 4, the blower motor turned on and you notice the AC automatically turned off. This is a great sign because that fuse was blown. Now we know the blower motor does actually work. And the blend door always works, so it works with heat too. But as we go to 1, 2, 3, it automatically turns off. This is because the transistor is blown, but the transistor probably blown because the blower motor was worn in too far and it's too old. So we're gonna replace the blower motor first in case you decide to do that. And the first thing we do is take off this trim piece, which simply takes a screwdriver or a nice trim tool to pop the little clips that secure the 2 clips of that little quarter piece. And there's one more plastic trim thing that comes off with a simple flathead screwdriver. It's a little screw. Now you can take that little quarter off. And with a 5.5 millimeter socket, you can start to do the 3 bolts that hold the blower motor in place. So they're located under the passenger dash to pop that fan out, because we're going to replace the fan before we get to that transistor. So with those 3 out, you can pull the fan out, and then you need to undo this plug, and you undo this plug by pulling up on the orange tab just barely. It just needs to move a little bit, and then pushing the tab inward on the plug, and then that will free the plug up. And there we have our old motor out. I do know that this motor needs to be replaced because in another video, I actually lubricated it to get a couple more years out of it. There's the part number for the new blower motor. And this one does spin a little more freely than the old one. The white one's the old one, the black one's the new one. Though there's not a huge difference. I was surprised at that. I thought there would be a lot more resistance in the old blower motor, but we're just gonna replace it along with the transistor in a minute here. So here's the new fan, and we just put it in the same way we took it out, being sure to align it in the same way. There is only one way it can go in, so just be sure you're doing it right so you don't get any air leaks. And you just want to tighten this front one down just a little bit so that it will allow you to hold it into place and align it. There's a couple little tabs in the back that you have to line up to get an airtight seal. So just be sure that it lines up and you'll be good. And then you can go ahead and tighten all 3 of those bolt screws down and then plug in the plug simply by connecting it until it clicks. Now we can try the blower motor just to verify that it works, and you can see that it works on level 4 and not 3, 2, or 1. I just wanted to make sure that that new motor did work, so we did. But in order to get levels 1, 2, and 3 to work, we need to do one more thing. So we're going to put that trim piece back on, just being sure to line up the 2 tabs and then the one kind of screw plastic piece that you add. So simply line up those plastic tabs and click them in. Be sure to line them up or you could break it. And then we screw on that little plastic piece. So with our fresh blower motor in and the trim all back together, we can now focus on, I suppose, the real problem at hand, even though the blower motor probably caused the transistor to blow. So underneath the dash, there's the new transistor, and there's the old one. That white plug, it's simply held in with 2 bolts, a little plate that comes out. Here's the new transistor from Four Seasons. This is the new transistor. It's simply a little cartridge that you screw in and plugs in. So just, again, the 5.5 millimeter bolts, 2 of them come out, releasing the transistor. And this is pretty much the brains of the HVAC controls. So with those 2 5.5 millimeters out, the transistor slides right out. And you could have undone the plug first, but it's simply a push plug. So you pull the 2 apart while pushing the tab in. And with that free, we can then grab the new one, compare it, make sure there's no corrosion on the plugs. You can see it's just a little dirty, but it still looks good, but obviously it is not working. It has blown internally. So this component might look different on other makes and models, but with this, it's super simple. You just slide it back into the slot it came out of and put the 2 screws back in. And these components can be more complicated if you have like an automatic climate sensing car on some of the newer models. This is not an automatic climate sensing. I have to manually control it. That's why this component looks the way it does. Some of the models from this year did have the auto sensing climate, so be sure to make note of that. Now when we turn on the car, 1 works, 2 works, 3 works, 4 works. I do not like the sound of this fan. The OEM one had a much cleaner noise. There's kind of a weird drone to this Four Seasons fan. You'll also notice that the AC button fully works now. Somehow it blew in a way that caused most of the controls to malfunction. So you'll notice everything works correctly. The blower motor feels strong, though, like I mentioned, there is that kind of weird sound. We're back in business, so this repair is complete. If you found this content helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, please use the comment section and leave them. And thanks for watching.